I mean, I could probably figure it out. But
Ask your dad too.
what's up, everybody? Today we're on a 38.
Boom, boom.
I think it's day 39 for me, but it's podcast 38 because I didn't do one yesterday. Had too much other crap going on.
It happens
so.
sometimes.
Yeah, but we're all tired over here. Everybody's sick of this shit. Are you sick of it?
No, I'm looking forward to more.
Yeah.
More crappy.
I see you got your Trump shirt on there.
Donald Trump on there, yeah. Proud American.
Donald Trump smoking a J.
With his bling bling.
His gangster glasses or whatever those are.
There's a flag of this too.
Yeah.
Just like this.
Do you have it?
No. Got lost in the mail in North Carolina.
So the Don has it.
Yeah.
It's up over there somewhere.
Ripping it. Woo.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. Today was snowy. It sucked. Driving around and stuff.
Right, yeah. I feel you. Every time someone opens the doors, they turn on all the heaters, so...
Yeah.
And they're infrared, so like the air is cold, but everything around you is hot.
I mean, so they're just not on all the time?
No,
they
turn on at 68 degrees.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We talked about that.
So...
Yeah. Yeah, when I was a receiver, I didn't even have heaters. It's like there was a heater and it didn't really work.
Right.
I mean, it was basically like 50 degrees back there all the time, if you're lucky.
Right.
But it made me used to the cold. Now I'm like driving around, it's 30 degrees with my window down every day.
I mean, I still do get a whole bunch of cold, but it's mixed. So like the bottom half is cold and the top half is like on fire because of the infrared.
Yeah. Sometimes
I put my plant on like crates so that way he can get up there and he just like spreads his leaves out and he's like, hey.
You have a plant?
Yeah. Because people keep breaking them. So like when everyone breaks a plant, I'll like put them in water and bring them back to life. And then I get pissed and throw them right down the garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to move this freaking thing here.
Yeah, I had a eucalyptus plant for a while, and it was growing all kinds of cool leaves, and then threw it away. Then
I mean, why do you throw it away? Why don't you just make a rainforest back there?
People steal them after a minute. I had a bunch of plants on hooks and stuff, and everyone stole them.
I mean, what do you mean they steal them?
They stole them. Like
what do they do with them?
I don't know. I went to work on my day off and came back, and all my plants were gone. And I'm like, what happened to all my plants? And like, well, you can't have those.
I mean, I don't think that's stealing. Like your boss is like, you can't have these. Maybe he just like is like he just threw them away because they're shrink.
Well, they were
shrink. What you're talking about?
I don't know. I have no idea. I ask everyone, and they're like, I don't know what happened.
Yeah. They're probably like, these are garbage. Why just try to keep these? I'm gonna throw them in the
Everyone
trash.
loves them. Everyone's like, oh, your plants are going so big. I'm like, I know. I have a placentia right now. It's all,
Yeah.
It got ran over by a forklift, so it was super jacked, but you can still see where, it's like grown, where it's overcame.
Yeah. It likes the heat from the heat lamp.
Yeah, all my plants are from people like trying to throw them away, but they missed the garbage hole. So I'm like, oh, I'll bring you back to life.
Yeah. What do you think about all this Doge stuff?
I don't know. Everyone keeps saying things, and I'm just like, what happened to like your counts and balances in the first place, y'all?
What do you mean?
Like your counts and balances, like you should have a budget every year, right? Like you should be checking it off, like, oh, I messed up. Instead, like now we got people looking into stuff, like how does that make sense?
Because the budget, like they're all corrupt.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
So like there's no, you mean checks and balances?
Yeah, checks and balances.
Because the people that are doing the checks are corrupt, and the people who are doing the balances, like they're not fighting with each other.
Right.
You know how like when you're a kid, like the first part of you being a kid, you like tell on your brothers and sisters. You're like, he punched me. You know what I mean? And then your dad or your mom comes in and they punish you, right? And at some point you figure out that if you stop telling on your brothers and sisters, then they stop telling on you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So then you got these kids. The kids are conspiring
They're
against
like,
the
hey,
adults,
don't tell 'em.
against the parents, you know? And so everybody's getting away with murder now because the parents can't figure out what the kids are doing.
I got
you. Know? You see what I mean? That's
Right.
that's what's happening right now.
I get that.
Is that they're not checking and balancing each other. At some point they figured out, they're like, hey, if we just like do this and don't tell anybody about it, then we'll just get rich.
Right.
And the people will just pay us, and every year the people just pay their taxes.
Right.
Thinking they're doing the right thing. Here's the problem, all right? Is like there's like, sheep and wolves.
Yeah.
And the sheep act like sheep and the wolves act like wolves. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so the sheep need to learn what the wolves are doing.
Right.
That they're sheep, so
right. Oh no.
They just get eaten all the time.
Right.
That's what's happened,
Like, but the sheep need to be kicking the wolves right in their head.
Yeah. We need to become wolves.
Right.
As people. So there's like I see like a bunch of people that are like, man, this is awesome. They're like out there checking out their, they're doing the checks and balances. They're checking out this stuff and they're like, look at all this waste that we're finding. Not just waste, but it's also like, why are we sending $50 million to Gaza to buy condoms? Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or $50 billion to Gaza to buy condoms. Well, the truth is that that's probably not what's happening. That's just what they wrote in the thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
So maybe some of it gets kicked back to a politician. Some of it makes it over there, and they probably use it to buy weapons.
Yeah,
more
exactly.
than likely, right?
And
then they go to war.
You can't be having sex if you ain't married. So yeah,
What?
Yeah, them Ghazians,
they don't do that.
They don't be having no premarital. So they don't got no beds. How can they have sex? He ain't got no beds.
Well, I mean,
house is destroyed.
I'm pretty sure the whole place is just leveled now.
Yeah,
I mean, from some pictures I saw, it didn't look good.
Unless you're
there's
rich.
Nothing left. I mean, I didn't see anything left.
Right.
But
New Gaza.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. There's like the people that I know that are on the left, they're saying that Musk was being investigated, or he had a whole bunch of issues with OSHA in his companies.
Right.
Now, and I don't know I'm sure all the business owners out there that are at that level have OSHA issues. You know what I mean?
If they come along.
If you have a whole bunch of employees.
If you got 25 employees, you're going to have at least 6 OSHA issues. I guarantee you.
I mean, I work in the grocery industry. On a daily basis, I wander around and see pallets sitting up on their side.
Yep. $10,000.
Everybody knows you can't do that.
Yep.
And it's done daily everywhere. So, like, should I blame the CEO of that company I'm in? That the pallets on its side and OSHA's finding them? And then what if that CEO was in a position, if we came in a position of power, that they could audit OSHA?
Right.
That's the issue that this one leftist friend I'm having is having. And it's actually the first intelligent thing that he's said this entire inauguration up till now.
Right.
Usually it's just been like, well, Trump's a douchebag because of this or that. I'm like, I haven't seen you say one thing that's made sense until now. So now basically what he's saying is, it still doesn't make very much sense though, because any business owner at that level is going to have issues with these government agencies. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and I don't know, there was something about the DOT, but and then the FAA. This is the other thing he was talking about is the FAA. They fired some people for the FAA, right?
Right.
And he's basically, his point of view is that these plane crashes are caused because of those firings, or could be, right? It's kind of what he's implying. He's not exactly saying it. The plane crashes. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, I've heard about those, but I think those are a different issue.
Well, I looked up some stuff last night because me and Maddie were talking about this at Dad after you left. And last year, there was like 1,150 plane crashes just last year.
Right.
Last January and February, there was I think there was 8, it was somewhere around about this, 80 in January and 90 in February.
Well, that's a lot. They banging them out.
Well, look, if it's about 1,200 a year,
right,
then there's about 100 a month.
Right. Oh, yeah.
But did you hear anything about any news of any plane crashes last year?
Yeah.
You did?
Well, not like the ones in Roy and
like close
Cessnas.
ones?
Yeah, like
ones
South
that
Jordan.
happened here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I did hear like 2 or 3 of those ones, but they weren't national news.
No, not national news. No.
I don't know that it was ever national news last year.
Right.
And so it just goes to show that they're wanting you to look at these plane crashes and they want you to focus on them so that you're not focusing on the Doge or focusing on
something else. I got you.
They want to make sure you're not focusing on like the issues with Social Security paying a 390-year-old, or whatever. Like,
that dude is raking in. That guy, he's got to be balling.
Like they're paying like 4,000 people that are older than 109.
Right.
Like, do we even have 4,000 people that are over?
According to the Guinness Book of World Records, I think the oldest person is 112.
Really? So is there 4,000 people though?
Or look it up. Yeah, but no, I mean, I'm sorry, but we don't be getting that old no more.
Like it's just
Moses' time, yeah, because back in those days they were so bored they didn't want to die.
Let's see, how many people are over what 112?
Yeah, 112. It's gonna be like 58
in the U.S. I mean, of course, the first thing it brings up is the story about the thing.
Yeah, about what the Doge has found.
Yeah,
I actually think that we should have independent checks and balances. I'm just saying, my agenda is with the police departments. Personally, like I wish I could get on a watchdog and get paid to police them because they. Again, also, do what they want to do.
Yeah, but it's like they do what they want to do, but they are doing it within the confines of the law. It's like, and if they're not, then you should be able to get a lawyer and figure that out.
Right.
But the problem that you have is that you're not doing things in the confines of the law. So since you're doing illegal shit, you can't really be like,
whoa.
You know what I mean? You can't really be like, hey, cop, don't be doing illegal shit. Only I can do illegal shit.
No, but even when I'm doing not illegal shit, I had to deal with that.
Well, yeah, but that's how it works.
But that's like...
It's like you get on their radar.
Right.
But now you're on their radar.
That's not fair, though.
Why isn't it fair?
Because it's like they're... Okay, so this is why. Because last night, a cop decided to follow me almost all the way here to band practice.
Yeah.
And he passed like 3 people that were having flat tires.
It's not his responsibility to deal with people with flat tires.
I know, but you see
like,
what I'm saying?
Yes, he should.
Like that was like a way better use of public monies because they could get squished. I've been on the side of the road where I wish a cop would have been there to keep you from getting squished. But instead, he followed me all the way here. For why? Because I drove the speed limit. I had my seatbelt on. I followed all the rules.
He's just making sure you make it okay.
I love it. I love having my guardian angel. UHP.
He didn't pull you over though.
No.
Right? And he didn't. I mean, what I was suggested to you so many times is you need to just start filming it.
I try, yeah.
That's where your watchdog is going to be.
Right.
Not only that, but you can make a shit ton of money filming it and putting it on YouTube.
Right.
If they're literally harassing you, then or even just doing that, which isn't harassment, because they're allowed to follow you. It's not like it's a free country, man. Like, they can drive around wherever they drive around. If it happens to be behind you, then
I understand that, but I just mean, like there are 5 lanes, 100 other people they could be cruising.
So where did he follow you from?
He followed me from 500 South, Bountiful, to 4700 South.
On what? On I-15?
On I-215. I-15, I-215.
I don't know if that's really following you.
Well, man. Yeah, because we went around. We took a curve, and then man, it was like I was like, dude, shake off. Like there's no one sped up past us though. It was like but everyone was behind.
Yeah, that's the thing is maybe he was just driving somewhere. And you're like paranoid.
I wasn't paranoid.
Like he's just following me.
I was like, I'm doing my job. I'm doing everything right. I'm like, there's no way you want to do 70 the whole way. No way, dude.
I mean,
go
why?
75. No one ever wanted. I do the speed limit because I'm an outlaw. But
you do the speed limit because you're an outlaw.
no one want to do the speed limit because they hate it. Everyone want to do 100. Everyone want to do 100. I thought it was nice. I'm like, hey, a break. No one's trying to run into me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was like, man, I don't got my alignment's kind of off, so I don't want to be like swerving, have him think I'm drunk.
Yeah, but it's like if you're swerving and then he pulls you over and he does a test, you're gonna pass him.
I'm gonna pass him.
So it's like it's not that big a deal, you know. Plus, he's gonna know. He's gonna be able to tell. Trust me, they can tell.
Oh, I know.
And drunks don't think like. Of course, every time a drunk gets pulled over, they think that they're
perfectly fine,
fooling anybody.
Good. Yeah, heck no.
I've watched those videos of drunks getting pulled over. They're never fooling anybody.
No,
like I can tell they're drunk through the screen. You know.
Oh yeah, exactly. I don't know. I ain't trying to say like pulling one over, but I'm just saying like sometimes I feel like the wrong care goes to the wrong place. You know what I mean? Like I really feel like sometimes as a citizen, I would like to see them help someone out. You know, and like I think it's cool that when they do.
But that's not their job.
Right.
It's an unfortunate part of society, okay? So like we have a bunch of people who just don't they just don't want to do stuff the right way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, like when I go to work in the morning, I drive right past their headquarters on 4 South. And I literally get afraid because of the darting dark bums that just dart out of nowhere, all black. And there's cops behind me or cops with me going back to station. Like they boom right on past.
Yeah.
I'm like, I get it, but like you should. I know that no one want to give them citations, but like you should hook them up so they don't die. Like,
well, no, like you shouldn't. You should let them die.
Or that,
you know,
or give us the green light to hit them.
I mean,
you know what
no,
I mean?
you shouldn't hit them either. Like they shouldn't be in the road for sure.
Yeah,
but
they shouldn't be
it's
in
like
the road.
they need to work on their own situation.
Right.
You know, the cops going over there and helping them in some way isn't going to help them. They need to figure out their situation, get out of the street.
But what about you or I? You know what I mean? Like we're just bebopping down the street, and now you hit one.
If you're just going the speed limit and you hit one, then you don't have anything to worry about. You know, it's just the way it is. Like if the dude jumped out in front of you and you couldn't stop, you did everything you could. You did everything right. That's why you don't speed.
I don't speed because I'm afraid of bums jumping out.
Yeah, I mean, do they jump out?
Yeah, they jump literally out.
I mean, what I would do is stop going that way. We have a grid system. Go a different way.
They're all over the place.
I mean, move. You live in a trailer. Why do you live there?
No. I mean, that's where I work. On my way to where I work.
Well, you
downtown.
I thought you said it was a Bountiful.
No, 4 South in Salt Lake.
Move. Once again, why do you work there?
Because it's a challenge.
There's like 200 Smith stores in the valley. you could pick any of them. Move to one of those, you know?
Right.
Like you can always change your environment. I don't work there.
Right.
They want me to work there. They want me to work at your store specifically.
Right.
Like, you know, I ran into what's her face at Harriman like 2 weeks ago. And she's like, if you ever need hours, come on over. I'm like, no, I don't need hours. Nope.
Nope.
I don't need money that bad. Like, I don't know how you guys deal with that every day, you know? But yeah, you could change your store.
Right.
Right? It's like I told you with the cops even. Like, yes, you could start filming them, buy some cameras, throw them on your truck.
Right.
You know, get some good quality dash cams that will just record all the time and actually work. Not the cheap ones that, you know,
that
I got
out
you.
when you need to.
Yeah. Not the cheap one that I got you.
When you want to see something cool and it's bang, gone.
Yeah, you know, and then just basically you just put them up and that you wire them in and they turn off when you turn your car off and they turn on when you turn your car on and they would just work.
Right.
I mean, that's what you should do, and then you can start to save this video. Like we could even save it on this computer.
Right.
And we could even edit together whatever. I mean, we could even use it on the show and be like, well, how did Tyler get harassed this week? I mean, allegedly.
Allegedly. Well, anyways, back to the Doge. But that's just what I'm saying. Like, I wish there was a third party that could.
Well, there is. That's the thing, is like this system has already been set up, okay? You have your different, it's not a third party. You have your different branches of government.
Right.
Everybody watched the Schoolhouse Rock when they were a kid.
Yeah, heck yeah.
That stuff is gone. The branches of government haven't policed each other in a long time.
Right.
And the unofficial fourth branch of the government, the media, they're completely in bed with all of them.
Right.
So you can't trust any of the media. And this is the issue, is that everybody trusts the media, you know?
Yeah.
And it's the issue. It's like people that I know that are on the left and people I know that are on the right. And that's the kind of the thing I was talking about earlier with the plane crashes.
Right.
The media is trying to get you to focus in on these plane crashes and be like, we got to blame Trump because he fired some people at the FAA and now all these planes are crashing. That's the narrative they're trying to get you to believe.
Right.
And if you believe it, you're in trouble.
Right, because there's been as many plane crashes anyways.
Yeah.
The year before, the year before, the year before.
Right. So this is normal. Okay.
Right.
These plane crashes are normal. This stuff happens all the time. It's not anything different. Nothing has changed. Yes, people got fired, but whatever. Like, that isn't what caused this. What in reality, what is happening is they're stealing your money, they're wasting it, and or possibly allegedly embezzling it, right?
Yeah.
And you're letting it happen because you're worried about plane crashes.
Yes.
Because they told you to worry about plane crashes. Right. That's what's happening. But people need to wake up and realize this stuff. And it's like, even with Trump, look at what the dude is doing. It's like nobody likes a sleazeball. Right?
Right.
It is what it is. But how come he's the only person that gets in there and wants to put the people first?
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And he's not doing special groups, special interests, or whatever who he promised XYZ.
Well, he is. He's doing what he
well, no, that's what I mean. But
special interest is the people,
right? But
instead of the corporation, or instead of Israel.
That's what I'm saying.
And maybe it is Israel.
All these other people are saying, "Oh, I have to take care of my special oil interest groups."
Yeah,
the guys who paid the money here.
Yeah, and maybe he
got his mugshot taken. He's still running for prezi. Come on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So that's what you need to do too, though. I mean, I guess is like you just need to go, start filming. That's really all you can do is film it. And then we could even make your own YouTube channel. We could make you a mugshot. Do you have a mugshot somewhere? Maybe you could get one.
I have one.
We'll get it and we'll make it the profile picture on the YouTube.
But my thing is that my whole basis is for them, because I've been in the military. Heck yeah, I know how that all works. But I feel as a people, as a civilian, you should be able to tell your government with the same authority to how you don't feel about it. Like if, for example, if let's say a cop thinks you are having a DUI, but you don't want to get out and jump through all of his hoops. You're just having a bad day. You should be able to tell the cop, no, I don't consent because I'm having a bad day. I need to go poop.
Yeah, but what about all the people that are drunk and they're habitual drunk drivers?
Right.
And then they just watch a YouTube video where it says, hey, if you just tell them that you're having a bad day, then you can just be let off on your way.
But
okay, now here's what happens, okay?
Everyone says it.
Dude's drunk as hell.
Right.
And he's like, hey, I'm just having a bad day. And the cop says, all right, go ahead and go. And then he kills somebody.
Right.
Who's liable.
I feel you. The guy should be.
Yeah, so here's the deal. If you're swerving around,
right.
I've never been pulled over and said, hey, step out, I think you're drunk. I've never had it happen.
Really?
Yeah, not once ever have I ever had it happen.
Okay.
So, the problem that I see with you having it happen is that, and we've talked about this, you invite it on, I'll say. You invite it onto yourself by doing certain things, I'll say. And you know what's going on. You know how to stop it.
Right.
Look, the world, I wish I could just get drunk all day, every day. Right. I would just drink beer, and it's fun to me. I enjoy it. I enjoy drinking beer.
It ain't a bad time.
But it is a bad time, and it's not good for me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, if I just drink beer on a Monday night, And then I just like the beer can and I take it to work with me and I put it in the passenger seat and I get pulled over and the cop sees it. Shouldn't he pull me out and have me do a test? Isn't it like his responsibility to ensure the safety of everybody else? You know what I'm saying? Like we give him that power.
Right.
So it's like, you know, if in that situation I get pulled over, I have an open container in the truck or the car or whatever, and he pulls me out and gives me a test. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
He should have the right to pull me out and test me. Like that's the way you keep drunks off the road. You've got to, yes, you do have to like walk a fine line. Now, what I would say is this. There are some people that will film cops.
Right.
That's it. That's all they do. They walk up and film the cop.
Right.
And then the cops come up to him and like, I need your ID.
Right.
Which is illegal.
Yes.
Like it's not a law. You don't have to allegedly, this isn't legal advice. But
no legal advice. This is all conversation.
What happens is these camera people
First Amendment auditors
don't give their ID.
Right.
And then they get arrested many times. So now there's a situation where the cop literally did overstep his bounds.
Right.
That cop got an ego and a chip on his shoulder, and he should have just backed off. Just let the people film him like they were the media, because they are. Because that's how it is now, you know.
Everyone's a media guy.
Yeah, we're all reporters now. That's the way the world is. We all have cameras in our pockets, and we're all reporters. And we're actually probably more honest reporters than the actual reporters, allegedly. You know, so...
Well, especially since you can't, if you keep it all in chain, it ain't, you know.
So you see what I'm saying, though? It's like, if you get pulled over and even if your license plate light is out.
Right.
You called yourself to get pulled over.
True.
You didn't pre-trip your vehicle.
Right.
You allowed them to have a reason to mess with you. You know what I'm saying? If they just follow you around, like, I feel like that's going over the line, and that's where you could, but basically you could do something about that, but you've got to get your ducks in a row.
Right.
You can't just show up to internal affairs and be like, they follow me around. The IA guy is going to be like, yeah, whatever, man. Like, you know, you're just like the last three kooks I talked to. Like, you got to show up and be like, look, I have all this video of them following me around. Here's my YouTube channel. Right. Watch how they just follow me around for hours on end. Then the IA guy, it's his responsibility to be like, okay, what's going on here? You know, and you can tell the dude, and like, this is what I would do if I were you.
Right.
First thing I would do is just film it all.
Right.
Every cop interaction I ever had, I'd be filming. The second thing I'd do would be turn all that video in.
Right.
And be like, look, here's your responsibility and here's your opportunity to change this.
Right.
The third thing I'd do is I'd start to get to know the cops.
Oh, yeah.
I would become friends with them.
Right.
So even though like you might not always be doing the right things,
right,
and they're not always doing the right things, if you guys can get together and meet in the middle somewhere, you know.
And that's
what I would do.
That's the weird thing though too, that I agree with you, is because I have seen them, because I do help people with tires a lot. Like I do stop. I feel bad if I don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because
I have all the means, I have the knowledge.
Yeah.
Why not? You know what I mean? Like 80% of them I will stop for. There's 20 that are just way too crazy. Ain't my dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, I ain't trying to like bring myself in specifically. I just am saying like the branch of government that is supposed to be for the people, the FBI, that's who's actually supposed to monitor the police departments, is because we made that branch for that. You know what I mean?
I mean, I didn't know that. I mean, the FBI, I think, is worse.
Yeah, they are, but they're supposed to be.
They have like, I mean, you know, I don't know. Like it seems like from what I've seen of a few certain cases that I've seen over the last few years, the FBI is basically like the KGB now.
Right. Yeah.
And they have gone like, you know, there was like this laptop that a reporter had.
Yeah.
And basically the information on the laptop would have been really bad. And it got out anyways.
Right.
I mean, all this stuff is public knowledge. Like, I'm not saying, you know, this reporter had this laptop. Well, the FBI broke into that reporter's house.
Right.
I think they locked that reporter up just for having this laptop, and then took the laptop.
Right.
And it just so happened that the laptop would have been bad for Joe Biden's family.
Right.
Essentially, that's what it was. Something like this, allegedly. This is all made up, and I made it
just
up
stories,
in my head.
Just stories.
And so it kind of looked like it was a huge abuse of power, and it kind of looked like the FBI was just being used to, help a certain family out in politics, which is, this kind of looks like it's all corruption. Now, the reason I say it kind of looks like that is because I don't know if we're all being fed a lie.
Right.
And I'm smart enough to know that all of this stuff could just be fake and made up. And so I'm not going to say any of this is definite. Like I see on the internet. Like people say that Trump is definitely a rapist. That's what I hear. Right. And I'm like, well, how do you know?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
He's trying to bring down a corrupt deep state.
Right.
If you were a corrupt deep state with endless amounts of money,
I would come up with all
kinds of skeletons. And then Trump came
skeletons.
up and did this.
Right.
Like, you could just make the crap up.
Oh, yeah.
So how much of the stuff is lies? How much of it is truth? Anyway, so with the FBI, it's like, who knows? I mean, so you think the FBI was there to help the people?
Initially,
against the police?
Initially, they had a couple branches they were supposed to do, because they are the Federal Bureau of Investigation. So if you had a problem, they were supposed to look into it. Government, blah, blah, blah. But now they've changed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because before they were looking for communists hiding in everywhere, too. Yeah. Way back in the day when there was communists everywhere.
Let's see.
But...
So AI says the FBI was created in 1908 to investigate federal crimes and national security. So that doesn't have anything to do with the police.
Well, yeah.
Particularly corruption and interstate crime. The FBI was established in response to growing concerns about these issues. Political fight. The FBI was created after Congress blocked President Theodore Roosevelt from using the Secret Service to investigate land fraud. Rising crime. The early 20th century saw a rise in crime, corruption, and espionage. So I think it's like federal cops, right?
Yeah, so they're federal cops.
Need for a centralized agency.
They look at the big crimes. There
was a need to enforce federal laws and investigate federal crimes. So like your state cops aren't going to necessarily go, or they're not going to enforce federal law.
Right.
So let's see. It was originally called the Bureau of Investigation. The BOI's mission was to prosecute criminals who had evaded punishment by crossing state lines. So that's another thing, is that the state police might not have had jurisdiction.
Right, to go to Alabama.
To go across state lines, so the FBI would take over at that point, I guess.
Right. And I am all about having rules. I am all about it. I support good civil services, because I believe that that's why they're there for. That's why we need a 911. That's why we need the police, the firemen. They get trained to do basic good stuff, right? I just hate the filler that we have to make them do to keep their budget, to keep their...
Yeah, well,
you know what I'm saying?
But that goes into this issue with, Doge and everything. Is like, if any government agency... If they don't use their full budget, then they lose it.
They lose it, yeah.
And it's like, why can't they roll money over?
Exactly, yeah.
Why couldn't they have everybody just have their own little, fund, that they're like, well, we don't need new cars every year.
Exactly.
Maybe we need new cars every 2 years, but we still need that money. Like, let's be, and of course, I don't know that this is true for sure either, but we've always heard these stories of, where if they need a new thing every 2 years, then they got to get the money for it every year.
Right.
They just buy it every year.
Right.
Well, then it's also like, okay, what happens to the old cars?
Well, yeah, we have they GSA sells them. I don't know if you've gone.
And they sell them for super cheap.
Super cheap. Super cheap.
They could get a lot more back for them.
And if they weren't so beat up, I'd be buying them whips.
I mean, maybe that's what they're worth. I don't know. Well, who knows? I mean,
super beat up.
Yeah. So it's like, well, what else do they sell on there super cheap that they don't necessarily?
All kinds of stuff. Have you been on there?
Not in a while, no. But it's like maybe they could get more for it, but why would they?
Right.
Like it's basically all sorts of stuff like that. It's also like you're talking about the bums over there. I think Andy Frisella talks about this, but it's like why are we sending any money to any other country if there's any homeless people here?
Exactly, 100%.
Well, here's the problem with that though, is that you could give these homeless people all the money in the world and they'd still just end up right back on the street.
Right.
Because it's not a money problem.
It's a mindset problem.
It's a mindset problem.
And like there was old federal programs that used to give them work, the CCC, for example, that wasn't a handout. It was you go work, you make the forest lands look bomb.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm not about socialism, but I am about putting the money where it should be correctly.
Yeah. Well,
you know what I mean?
I mean, it's like if we're going to be forced to pay these taxes anyways.
Right.
And then they're just going to send them to Ukraine or whatever, or all these other countries. It's like, why not just create a team, instead of sending it to these other countries and we become globalists? Why don't we create teams in each of these cities to go and work with these homeless people?
Right.
Not just give them money, not just give them housing or food.
Right, exactly.
Work with them to figure out their problems, to fix their problems, to get them back integrated into society.
Right.
Like, how much would that cost? Would it be $50 billion like we sent for condoms in Gaza? You know what I mean?
Right, yeah,
like,
exactly.
Would it be $200 billion? Like the amount.
The payoff is better though, because again, once you get them reintegrated, they're paying taxes again.
Right.
They can help out the other idiot.
Yeah, and we all kind of benefit from that.
Right. Yes.
But what they're doing now instead is you get these Democrat cities. I don't know if you've seen this, but they actually go and hand out heroin kits. They go give people needles.
Right, yeah.
And I think the thought process kind of is, well, if we give them clean needles, then maybe they'll stop infecting each other with hepatitis or whatever, right?
Because AIDS is back.
Whatever. But the answer to that is actually no.
Right.
That you guys are doing it wrong. You should let them die.
Right, yes.
And this is a harsh world, okay?
Right, harsh world.
I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. But this is the way it should be. The survival of the fittest. If you want to go live on the street and that kills you, that's the way it is.
Yeah.
If you want to go get AIDS from doing heroin, that's the way it is. It's cold, but listen, Kate, the problem will take care of itself.
Yeah.
Essentially, if you're out there trying to keep them alive, it's worse.
Right.
Or the better way for them would be to stop doing drugs and stop spreading disease and get off the street.
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm trying to say too. It's like with our public servants that are looking to, because your department gets paid more if you do X, your department gets paid more if you do Y. That's the wrong answer. If they're actually doing the right thing and not wasting their time on X, Y, and Z problems, survival of the fittest, keeping that in mind. If you're actually taking care of like the cats and the dogs in your city and like, the old ladies that are calling for help, you go help her out. That's where it needs to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the actual people that actually are, that it's designed for, you know what I mean? Like I never had a bad time with the old people that were on, cause they're old. They did their time. They paid their taxes until they're 100. And now they need the food card, and they're budgeting correctly. They're buying the right kind of things. I'm for it. Heck yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, they have Social Security.
Right.
But it's like the food cards, that's not what happens.
I know, but then so my example is because I used to work in a front end. I used to work in a cash register, right? And I knew that these people that had budgeted their money their whole life, had did the right things, iron worker, his wife was a telephone worker, now they're retired. They get that state subsidy and they do the right things. That should be the example. It should be okay to say, hey, good job, here's your money. But the people that do the bad thing, they should cut that off. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like the people that are selling their food card, no, they should cut that off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, basically what you should do is if you're going to be on welfare, then you need to have you should be drug tested.
Clean drug test. Yep.
Like it should be a lot, the standards should be a lot higher.
Just like a federal employee. That's what it should be like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
you're on that paycheck. You should be jumping through the same hoops.
Yeah. I mean, the idea should be to get you off of it. How are we going to get you off of it?
Right. Yeah. Unless you're an old person and you're going to die.
No, even if you're old, how are we going to get you off of it? It shouldn't be welfare.
No. I mean, I'm not saying welfare, but anyways, put a pin in the old people part. I'm just saying, if you're the right kind of old people and you did your money right and your 401k covers this and your Social Security covers that, you're doing the right thing. You planned that.
Yeah,
you know
but
what I mean?
then they wouldn't need to be on welfare.
But
Social Security is not welfare, right? It's different because you pay into it your whole life.
Right. Well, some people get a food card because they're disabled. That's who I'm mostly talking about.
All right. Well, I mean, look.
And they're okay. I'm okay with but they did the right thing.
I would even go into the disabled.
Right.
There are things they could do.
Yeah.
And they don't. You know what I mean?
True.
Like I watched this dude who didn't have any arms and legs like crawl through a mud pit because he wanted to do it.
Right.
You know, they could do it. Like we have computers. A lot of work is done on computers.
Right, yeah.
So if your legs are jacked up, you can't find a desk job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, look, and I don't want to be cold to people's situation, but at the same time, it's like you're going to get more out of doing that work than you are out of the disability. It's going to be better for your mind. It's going to be better for your life.
Right.
It's going to be better for your everything. It's all going to be better. But we're not talking about disabled people when we talk about welfare.
No, we're not talking about people.
Yeah, we're like what happens is this, and I know this happens because I've known people personally that have done this for years and years and years. You get this generation of welfare, and what happens is a lot of times in families, the parents teach the kids
how to do it.
The kids follow what the parents do.
Yeah.
So rich people, a lot of times, teach their kids how to get rich.
Right.
Poor people, a lot of times, teach their kids how to stay poor. Middle class teach their kids how to stay middle class. That's the way it works. Well, in poor families, what they do is they teach their kids how to just stay on welfare.
Right. Wrong.
So then you get the parents that are on welfare their whole lives.
Right.
The kids are on welfare their whole lives. A lot of times these kids don't make great decisions. They have a bunch of kids.
Right.
And then they're on welfare their whole lives. And this is what we're doing. And now this isn't even the biggest problem. Like I would still much rather pay my taxes and pay for all of those people to do all of that and not send money to Gaza. Like, I don't know what's going on over there. Why is that my responsibility to pay for?
I agree, yeah. And I do agree with you by getting people off the benefit. That should be a big thing, is to teach them how to work a 9 to 5 or get all those whatever.
So if we, instead of just
of
giving them a whole bunch of money,
right,
why don't we instead get them on a program to learn how get the poor people on a program to learn how middle class people act?
Right.
So now the poor people get lifted up a level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so then they're going to get off welfare. They're going to get a job and work and not be, an issue for the rest of us.
A leech.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard either way, or we just completely get rid of the welfare program. Like this is what what I would like to see fully is like you bring back churches to America and the churches do it.
Right.
And the welfare is the responsibility of the churches.
Right.
And churches will do that. And so what you do as a people is you go to church and you donate.
Right.
And then what the churches do is they're going to be more responsible than the government.
Right.
They're not going to let this generational welfare go on.
Right.
They're going to be like, look, you guys need to go get a job, or like, let's help you get a job, right? Let's help you get a job and get off this stuff. But then they're going to look at that disabled person. They're going to be like, okay, well, you have very limited options. So we're going to keep you on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But they're going to actually look at it. Whereas I feel like the government is like they can't discriminate in that way.
Well, you're right. Because if you know how to work the system, everyone, like people, I ain't talking shiz, but I feel like VA benefits, especially someone like in my situation, People are always saying you should get on it, blah, 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 get your free money. No, wrong answer. I put my shoes on in the morning. I go to work. People that...
Yeah. So, but I mean, it's like, can you go to work and be on it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if it's a benefit, it's different though.
But people...
That's
but
what
you have to stay
is,
on it. You have to keep working it. Like, and that's what I'm against. Like, people that are on welfare, they have to keep up with the steps. You have to...
Yeah, but welfare is like where you're getting that money but you didn't do anything for it.
Right.
A VA benefit is different. Right. Like, that's not like you didn't do anything for that money. Like, you did stuff to get those benefits.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but...
You went and served your country.
Right.
And so your country needs to serve you back, needs to pay you back, right? That's different. That's you're getting paid for a job you did. And
I'm all about that for people that are more injured than I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't need that because I don't feel like I need it.
Maybe you will at some point and it will be there, you know, but it's like...
I hope so.
Like, I think that there probably needs to be more of that, because you have more soldiers giving up more crap than, like, you know, these generational welfare people, like, or than people in Gaza. Like, why doesn't Gaza get their own government figured out?
Well, but my second thing about the VA benefits is the people that really need it should have an easier time to get it than the people that are good at paperwork.
Yeah, but
that's my thing.
It's the
you know
government.
What I mean?
Yeah, that's another issue that we have.
Because people
too much bureaucracy.
Yeah, people that are good at paperwork get all kinds of money, all kinds of hookups. And cause I don't know how to type. I can't get no spoon in my mouth. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I
know computery.
I mean, maybe the ones that can type got to help the other ones. You know.
See, that'd be cool too.
How come you can't type?
I don't know, man. I don't know how to use QRS.
Like, here's what you need to do. You just need to start practicing. You can do anything you want to do.
I'm already doing a lot of things. I'm already...
I know. I'm lifting you up. I'm getting you into a better life.
See, that's good. I'm okay with all these things.
We're all leveling up over here. See, like, this is what happens to me. I'm like, hey, I'm doing 75 hard. Who's coming with me? It's going to suck and we're all going to hate it. But we're just going to do it.
I'm showing up. I no longer eat. I'm eating dang dried fruits like a forager.
Why don't you just eat regular fruits?
Oh, it's a texture thing.
That's what I do. I eat apples and bananas every day.
Right on. No, I
do
eat
cranberries.
I do eat regular fruits too, but the dried fruits are more consistent.
Yeah.
They always taste good.
Well, what I do is I get the genetically modified apples. No, I don't know if this is better, all right, but those apples are really good.
They taste so good.
You know, and like a lot of times of the year, they're giant.
Right, yeah.
And they're like probably way bigger than an apple should actually be, probably because they're genetically modified.
But yeah, you're right. Like the almighty dollar speaks, and whoever's holding people down, I wish that there was a medium to knock them off their pedestals.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's like, I don't know. I guess everybody's got to go do their own thing. But, there is now, okay? We have Doge. That's what Doge is trying to do. But you have all these people that are just trying to discredit it.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, well, let's say that Elon Musk, let's just say hypothetically, he's doing it for all the wrong reasons.
Right.
He's literally going after all of the 3-letter agencies that are going after him. You know, so he's trying to take down OSHA.
Right.
Somebody said USAID was investigating him for some reason. I don't understand how that works, but that's what the thing said. You know, whatever.
Oh yeah.
So like, let's say that all these 3-letter agencies are trying to take him down, and he's trying to take them down first. Okay, but what if all this stuff he's saying is true?
Right.
Oh, there's all this waste, all this corruption, and he's found it. Even if he's doing it for his own selfish reasons, we all benefit.
True.
So the ones on the left, how are they like in protest of this? Anyways, they're like, hey, this corrupt person found all these corrupt persons that were screwing us.
Right.
Now this Musk, as the supposed corrupt person, isn't screwing us. You know, he's screwing his employees, is what they say. Right. They say he's screwing his own employees. Which, why would you work for him then?
Yeah.
But it's like, so he's finding all these people that are screwing us, and they're mad about it. I'm like, why? Like, I don't understand. The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
At the very least, that's what it is. But it doesn't even seem like that's it. It seems like he's more like, hey, I'm stepping out on a big limb here that I don't need to try to help all you guys, try to help everybody. He's not getting paid.
Right.
I really don't believe that those like OSHA issues are why he's doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Like, and is he even liable for that? Like, as a company, if you have an OSHA issue, it's like you have $200 billion or whatever. You're a billionaire.
Right.
And you got to pay a $10,000 fine.
What? No.
Do you think you're like, it's like a penny to you?
Oh yeah. You've already recouped it in a half hour.
Yeah. You're just like, okay, pay the fines. Stop leaning the pallets up on their sides. Tell all the employees to knock it off.
That off.
And by the way, people, that's why we get those stupid web trainings that we have to do constantly, because you guys do that crap.
Right. Because people take the shortcut, get hurt, costs money.
Yeah. So anyways, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to reset the balance of government to where it is actually balanced and there is checks and balances. But I think that people are just resistant to it for some reason.
Right.
I don't know why.
That's crazy. They should be. It should be. Our government should be the clearest thing to us, to our view.
Yeah, and we should have all the transparency, and we should go back to an earlier day when like people didn't feel like they were just entitled to all this stuff.
No, you got to work for it.
The entitlement needs to go away.
Right.
The welfare needs to go away. Like, we shouldn't be giving money to other countries. We need to get back to being a sovereign nation, because I don't even think we're sovereign anymore. Like, we do too much manufacturing outside the country.
Yes.
And it's like, we need to get back to, we need to be back on top of the mountain.
Right.
And just basically like, we're up here. Yes, we will deal with all you other countries as we do, but it's going to be less than,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I agree. We should be on top of the mountain again.
Yeah.
If everyone wants to close off their borders to America, nanner, we got it going on.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're allowed to close their borders, but if we do it, we're racist.
Yeah, everyone gets pissed
Explain
at
that
us.
to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, even the way we close our borders is way more humane than like Germany. When Germany was shutting their borders off to all the Muslims, that was not very nice.
Why? What'd they do?
They were rubber bulleting all of them to get away from their fences. I
mean, that's
dogs.
I'm not sure that I would do that. I think I would rather be like, look, we're putting the military on the border. Yeah, it's an invasion.
That's what they did. They put their military on the border, and if you touched the fence, you got hit with rubber bullets.
I wouldn't use rubber bullets.
Right.
If I was in charge, I'd be like, shoot them.
Right. Yeah.
They're invading. That's an invading army. And like, maybe I'm wrong for that, but that's what I'd think.
That is the word invasion. That's what it means. And you put a couple down, they ain't coming around.
That's an act of war.
Right.
Like, you guys are coming over here. I'm sorry, this is war. Like, and it's the same thing in the United States. And I don't know why we haven't thought about it this way up in, like, like somebody said the other day, I don't know if they were left, right, or what, but they were just like, it's a sad day when you have U.S. military on the border. I'm like, what are you talking about? That's where they should be all the time. They should be there all the time, making sure we're not getting invaded.
Yeah.
They should have been there this whole time.
We shouldn't have that. That's something else I was talking about. Like the TSA, CBS. Why do we have them? That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's just more of a,
because they're not even our real government. Like,
that's just like the Patriot Act. That was just put in place to control the citizens of this country again. And it's all based on the supposed safety. Like, there is no safety.
Yeah,
and if you give up liberty for safety, then you'll have neither.
Right.
And that's what's happened. That's what happened there. And it's like some bad people did some stuff with some box cutters.
Right. And now we lost our complete freedoms.
Yeah, and now you got to get felt up every time you go flying.
X-rayed. Your wiener.
Well, now it's X-rayed. But when they started, they were filling everybody up.
They were, yeah. Well,
you were getting
now you can only carry
searched.
3. How come they didn't use a bomb? I'm sorry. So how come now we can't carry more than 3 fluid ounces of some shiz?
Yeah, because
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They didn't mix anything up. I'm sorry, but if if you got a 3-part chemical that you're trying to mix upon a plane to make, whatever.
It's because it's about control.
Yep.
So if you change people's mindset, and all of this ties in together with all of this other stuff. If you change people's mindset about things like that to where they're just like, oh, you just have to go do it.
Wrong.
The cops pull you over. Oh, we just have to do it. Like, we just have to hand over our papers. Like, it's all part of a communist agenda.
Right.
It always has been.
Yeah. Right.
So like, and it's like, this is what these people have been doing for all of this time. I shared a reel recently that said this, and I can't remember. I think it was a dude that was in the KGB. It was somebody from the USSR.
Right.
And I don't know if the reel I shared was this, but I remember seeing this video years and years ago. And what it said was basically this. It said, if we're going to conquer America, we can't do it with an army.
Right.
You cannot conquer America with an army because all the citizens are armed.
Right.
And like, we will form militias, and you will have to fight the United States military and
a militia.
the United States people.
Right.
That's why we're not going to get conquered, okay? So what he said was that the only way we're going to conquer it is through the minds of people.
Right.
And basically what he laid out was exactly what has happened. And so like, the first things that you need to do is you need to cause chaos within the people, divide and conquer style. And so it's stuff like this, like adding in the TSA to where it's like, you get so like, nobody wants to fight anymore. Nobody wants to fight their government. You add in like any kind of police state, as long as you add it slowly. And some people are like down with it.
Right.
Like, they're down with red light cameras and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're down with the CC everywhere. The radar reading your license plate.
Yeah, and the facial recognition, all this stuff. It's just a way for our government to control us, more and more all the time. Well, even like this, what's happening right now is everybody who is against Doge, they are literally being controlled by the media state, the government state, to go against their own good.
Right.
And to divide the country. And that's what it's for, so that we can be more easily controlled.
Right.
Right. And that's basically what's happening. And they're putting out all these plane stories to control us. So they're like, hey, don't pay attention to what Doge is doing.
Right.
Don't pay attention to all this corruption that you're going to find out about. Don't, be for less government. Be for more government.
Right.
It's even like, they're tearing down the Department of Education, right?
Right.
And I've been watching this a lot. A lot of people are like, no, don't tear down the Department of Education. Like, all our kids going to school, what are they going to do? It's like, homeschool your kids.
Right.
The public school system was broken when we went through it 20 years ago. It's not better now. It's worse.
Yeah.
It's gotten worse. It's not the public education system. It's the public indoctrination camp.
Right. Yes.
And so, just like I'm sure before the Nazis took over, they were putting these ideas into their heads. Anyways, back to what I was saying. This USSR Russian agent, the dude was like, this is how you're going to take down America.
Right.
You're going to put this communist ideals into the people. You're going to make the people believe that they're taking down the environment. Does that sound familiar?
Right.
He's like, you're going to make the people believe that the Mother Earth is more important than humans.
Yeah.
Does that sound familiar? Because then as soon as you think that the Earth is more important than you, then what will you do? You'll do stuff like you'll vote or not, like, let the water flow into California. And then when it catches on fire and the fire hydrants are empty, and you had access to this water, but you were worried about some fish. You know what I mean?
Or some golfer.
Like, how many people died because of that fish?
Right.
Because of this environmental issue, supposedly. Like, that's the issue.
How many Mauians died for the exact same reason?
Yeah.
You were right next to the hot dog and ocean.
And so
y'all shouldn't have died.
This is how you take down America.
Right.
And that's what's happened. And so anybody who's on the left, they have to know that this is what has happened.
Right.
It's a Marxist style takeover from within, and then the open borders.
Right.
Like, our whole culture has changed because these borders have been so open for so many years. you know, and there's been so many issues because of this, and it is an invasion, and we need to start looking at it that way. You know, how many people have died from fentanyl?
Right. Yeah,
like
exactly.
Even George Floyd, that's what he died of. They burned the country down for that drug addict.
Right.
Think about that. Anybody who is about that, you watched a 20-second clip. Right. And you think you knew the story. They told you the story. They told you what they wanted you to know.
You got the narrative you wanted to believe. Go burn down your neighbor's house.
Yeah, they told you that. Well, yeah, I don't think they burned down any houses. They burned down a car dealership, and they lit a bunch of fires.
Yeah, well, they were robbing each other. They were robbing.
Yeah, it was just chaos for a drug dealer.
For a like, how do you get?
You know, he was literally 20 minutes before that. He's trying to like play off a fake 20.
Right.
That's what started the whole thing. And then they come back with the autopsy 3 months later that he overdosed.
Right.
That was on the autopsy, but nobody wants to look at that.
No one wants to talk about it. Instead, we paid another group.
Yeah.
BLM. To do what? To take money from your own people?
To protest.
I'm sorry, when you guys protested in your own towns and you jacked up your own neighborhood crap, you did it to your own hood.
Yeah, well,
your own people.
And then they put up did you hear about that? They put up like an altar to George Floyd.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it got struck by lightning.
Oh, dang, it should have. I mean, well, even the Confederate, like, not to be like getting dark here, but even our Confederate soldiers, before they were in the Civil War, they had great feats that they had accomplished before we were at war. And now all those have to be taken down. Like, I'm sorry, some of those Confederate...
Well, that was part of it, too. And I'm doing a horrible job of explaining this, but that was part of it, too, is that they needed to take down the history. Right, they need to rewrite the history. That was part of their agenda as well. It's like all of this stuff adds up together to be eventually... Like, I think the idea is you eventually create a civil war. If you can divide the people, and then that's when you could go in and conquer them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's how you lose,
each side at a time.
That's how you lose America.
Right.
Yeah, George Floyd mural struck by lightning. So CBS News in Toledo, Ohio.
Oh, that looks so terrible.
Yeah, a mural honoring the memory of George. And like, I don't get it. He was like a literal, like, somebody told me, I don't know, that he like held it. Didn't he like hold a knife up to a pregnant lady at some point or something like that?
He definitely was a bad guy.
I mean, and like these same people now I see on the internet, they're talking about how Musk is bad. Like how Musk is trying to shut down OSHA. And I'm just like, well, what about this? You know, you were down with this dude. Like,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
It is pretty wild.
So basically, it's just backwards, right? Is that this right here is not what they say it is.
No.
But they believe it.
Oh, yeah.
And I watched the whole video back when all this went down. There's a 20-minute video out there. And what the media did is they took 20 seconds
Yeah, they took the last little bit.
Clipped it and put it on and then made their own story. And the media does this all the time. If you watch a media clip on YouTube, it's going to be 5 minutes of them talking, 20 seconds of the actual proof, which is edited down, and then 5 more minutes of somebody else talking, okay?
Or trying to reiterate what you were supposed to see in it.
Yeah, what they want you to see in it, or what they want you to know. Okay, so, but if you go watch the whole 20-minute video, they had this dude in the car.
Yeah.
And he wiggled his way out of the car.
Right, yeah.
And he's like running out into traffic. And he's high.
Right.
And like you can tell he's high. And they're just trying to get him under control for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
He's like, you know, a greased up deaf guy. Can't catch him. He just keeps wiggling out of their control.
Yeah.
It's like you watch that whole thing and then you get that context. And then you look at the autopsy.
Right.
And you're just like, how can you, after any of that, trust anything any media source ever says again?
Right.
And like, let's look it up. Like, we gotta be done.
And there was another one too where who was it, the carton of cigarettes guy? He was before then, and it was the same thing. Like the cops accidentally killed him because he was hustling for cigarettes, and I'm just like, again, like if they have to put 5 officers on you to hold you down, what are you on? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially since they, like, again, they got to go home at the end of the day. They're just like Burger King workers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, so this is going to say the opposite of what I said.
Right.
A new autopsy report from George Floyd has been released in 2023 revealing he died from a drug overdose, not from the actions of arresting Minneapolis police officers. I don't think that it actually said he died from a drug overdose, but it did say that there was drugs in his system.
Right, yeah.
I don't know of anybody who did this autopsy. There's no way they're going to sit there and say, oh, he died of a drug overdose. After all that stuff went down, like
people burned his house down.
Yeah, he would die.
Yeah.
He'd be died. Let's see what it says.
BLM would go put bombs in his house.
See right here. It says while the page says he had fentanyl and methamphetamine in his system and did not have life-threatening industries, the full report concludes Floyd died from whatever that is, not an overdose.
Cardiopulmonary arrest.
Okay, but look at that.
Right.
He had fentanyl and meth in his system. He was high. It's like, so like, and then the other thing too is if you're doing an autopsy and you have this, right? You have that thing. I can't say it.
Cardiopulmonary arrest.
And you have methamphetamine in the thing, right?
Right.
And they just burned down the city for this.
Right.
What are you going to do? What are you going to put on there?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What's going to protect your butt?
You're like, look, if I put that he overdosed, now let's say that he didn't have this. Let's say the cops somehow didn't do this part.
Okay, yeah.
Do you think that dude would say that he died of an overdose? I mean, maybe he wouldn't have died. I don't know. But it's like, look, drug dealer. He literally had the stuff in his system.
Right.
In the autopsy. Drug addict. Why are we making murals of him?
Yeah, why? How did he become a hero? He did not help anyone out by being a drug addict.
Yeah.
He wasn't the drunken ninja saving China, Yeah. Nope.
Yep. Anyways, you guys are all crazy. But I gotta go pee. We should end this.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.
Keep it strong.